So these are me being some random on the internet. These are my thoughts on the whole Heeseung situation. So Heeseung's recent fan call, which I didn't even know that he was gonna appear for, came up, and suddenly it's like all the questions and concerns I had in my brain about him kind of went away. He looks different. He has like a different glow about him. And if I'm being honest, it might actually be just as simple as he couldn't do it anymore. On the outside, it kind of just feels like a betrayal, especially if you're a younger fan, right? And we come to K-pop for escapism and a fantasy, basically. For entertainment, it's something that makes us genuinely happy, but we don't go into K-pop wanting to look at the negative sides of it. We can know it's there all day long, but we ultimately don't really want to see that. We want to have fun, we want to enjoy the music, we want to see the funny content from their shows, and we want to see them looking all sexy in the music videos. But once something real and raw like this comes out, especially out of nowhere, just waking up that Tuesday and seeing Heeseung's leaving and Hypen all over my YouTube, all over everything, it felt actually like the biggest rug pull of like the year or something, I don't know. And you can know in your mind that the members of ENHYPEN don't owe you anything personally, or just anybody in the world doesn't really owe you anything. They don't owe you staying together. They don't owe any of us anything. They can leave if they want, and if the company said, okay, if that's really what you want, then it really could have been a mutual decision. And if that's what happened, then I completely understand. If Heeseung said, I've done this for as long as I can, and in fact, I've done this for longer than I should have been able to, and I can't stand it anymore, and he wanted to leave, and that's what he wants, then he should be able to do whatever he wants. Not only is he grown, but he's a human being, and humans deserve to be free. Now, the thing is, my opinion is that I stand ENHYPEN for 7. I did not stand for 6. I love each and every one of them, or what I can see of them, basically. What is portrayed of them. I love them all individually. But the dynamic that they all had when they were together as a group, during their shows, in their music videos, in their songs, their distinct voices, their skills, that is what I stand the group for. That dynamic is what I love. And trying to imagine supporting Heeseung himself after feeling almost betrayed, I don't know if I could do that right now, especially since this announcement of his solo work almost seems to be born of pain. Again, I know for a fact that he did not betray anybody by making his own decision, but we're allowed to kind of feel like it was, though. We're allowed to have our human feelings about it, especially because it seems to have come out of nowhere. We are allowed to be sad, we're allowed to be even a little angry, we're allowed to think that there might be something going on behind the scenes, because there might be, or there might not be. We can have our feelings. The thing is, I never blame anyone for having feelings about anything, or thoughts. First of all, there's something you can't control, and they don't really have any morals until you act on them. So if we're not actively hurting Heeseung, or the members of ENHYPEN, or anybody that's innocent in this situation by having our feelings, then I say have them. But what I'm saying is, I don't think I could support this, because Heeseung teasing his upcoming album and everything in his fan call, he looked a lot happier, and honestly, that's great for him. And if he's excited about that, that's wonderful. If this is ultimately what he wanted, that's wonderful. And I know for sure he has so many fans waiting for him that will be absolutely okay with this and will support him from the ground up, just like they have with ENHYPEN before. These kinds of things happen in industries. These kinds of things happen in life. But as for me, personally, in my opinion, has no real weight, just like everybody else's. It's just an opinion. But I don't think that after that abrupt announcement, I could support Heeseung's album, because it honestly just serves as a reminder that anything that you like in life, it's not permanent. Nothing's permanent. And people can say that that's the beauty of life. Nothing is permanent. But it can also be really painful sometimes, especially when you're just looking for an escape from the monotony of life, especially if you're an adult. you're grown, you got bills to pay, and you come home and you want to turn on some K-pop and jam. And then you are reminded that good things don't last forever. That a lot of groups behind the scenes, the members hate each other. There's fights, there's disagreements. They tolerate each other on stage, and then as soon as they get off, they're like, screw you. There's drama, there's money issues, there's debt issues, there's dating, there's this, there's that. Once you're reminded of all those things, it just reminds you of the grittiness of life, and it can make you a bit bitter if you think too hard about it. So, if I'm being honest, if this is really all it is, and Heeseung is going to stay solo, and ENHYPEN is going to continue as 6, I will probably quietly leave the fandom and probably start standing other groups a little more. I've always been a multi-stan, always. I have been into K-pop for years and years and years, but this is the first time something like this has happened with a group that has been in like my top 3. So it's clearly a big deal, but as much as I probably won't support Heeseung's decision in terms of me watching and listening to his solo stuff, I can support it in my heart by understanding why he may have made the decision he made. But honestly, I want to know what other people think. I want to know, after having let everything simmer and taking time to realize like what all this could mean, taking time to come to terms with the fact that ENHYPEN isn't the group you imagined it, and Heeseung didn't enjoy it the way that we thought he did. After coming to terms with that, accepting it, what are your opinions? What do you think? Will you continue to stan? Will you listen to ENHYPEN as 6, and will you support Heeseung's decision? Do you think that something could be happening behind the scenes? Some of those theories sound a little plausible, I'm not sure. But at the end of the day, all this is just K-pop. This is all kind of dumb. There are way more important things going on in the world. But I don't know, I just thought I would get my thoughts out there.